Investigators say the suspects involved in Operation Wrap Up are connected to other violent crimes in Jacksonville.
Hey, what's up? This your boy Big Man. You already know what it is, man. So let's get right to it. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about Y&R Mookey. Now, Y&R Mookey is well known and established in Jacksonville's hip-hop history, or Jacksonville hip-hop current, because he's been the topic of many discussions. He's been the topic of the Spotemgottem discussion several times, because that's his homeboy. They even got locked up together. Now, Y&R Mookey has been a topic of discussion because of Operation Wrap Up, which caught him and Slugger T up in a whole big type of RICO charge, man. So it wasn't looking good. The operation brought down pretty much a large portion of the Y&R clique. And man, Mookey has been fighting to try to get free ever since. Now, it looks like his lawyer took to social media on his behalf and took control of his social media page to put some words out there. And you got some famous rappers who are going to his defense and trying to see that he sees the light sometime soon, man. Now, Y&R Mookey is got a fight on his hands. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But it looks like he's pleading to the fans to get his back and help him reshape his image. Now, before we get to the specifics, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And man, let's get it. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about Operation Wrap Up, Y&R Mookey, and pretty much everybody on the Y&R side of the game in Jacksonville, right? Now, this is a complicated situation because you have Y&R Mookey's attorney. He's saying something way different than what's being reported out there, or that has been reported out there since January 2019 when the operation took place. Now, earlier I talked about Operation Wrap Up, and it wasn't really a RICO charge or anything like that. You know what I mean? Nothing on the federal level, I believe. It was an operation that was done locally in Jacksonville by the Jacksonville police to go after folks who were promoting, any type of gang violence or violence in their music and putting it in their music videos. It's simple as that, right? And there were certain groups that were specifically, sought after because of their lyrics and the things that they are allegedly displaying in the video. Now, in most of the videos, you see some type of weaponry or some guns. And that was like the big problem, right? Because they didn't want to spread that image. They don't want that out there. And they don't want to encourage or that to be used to encourage or intimidate anyone. Get me? Now, Y&R Mookey's attorney or his lawyer or somebody, whoever is running his social media page, put out a statement today that refuted a lot of the claims that were made in that original report from the Jacksonville News when Operation Wrap Up took place. Now, let's look at this statement so we can break this down a little bit more. The statement is rather long, so I have to break it down in parts, but it starts off like this. It says, on January 30th, 2019, there was an Operation Wrap Up, a social media investigation targeting teenage rappers for using prop guns for their music videos. On that day, there was 6 juvenile delinquents arrested due to videos that was posted on social media to promote their music. The charges were later dropped due to the Time Union publishing news articles and exposing the unlawfully acts of the state attorney's office. Stop right there. So, okay, they're basically saying that the guns that were being used in the music videos were all prop guns. They weren't real. Nothing in the music video was real. And that the charges were eventually dropped because, the state attorney's office had used some unlawful acts in order to, get at these folks who were being charged. Now let's continue. Okay, well, even though an attorney might have wrote this, it's broken up into some, autocorrect obviously got some of these words wrong. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to improvise a little bit, right? Now it continues by saying the city police officers and mayor for allowing this wrongfully decision act to go on. They meant wrongful decision or act to go on, right? Even though the issue was resolved, it left a history for the state and officers to continue to target, chastise, and harass the entertainer, to unlawfully arrest them for crimes, labeling a client of mine, Tyler Jackson, which is Y&R Mookey, and associates as a committed gang member and pending firearm charges on him for a gun that he did not have possession of. So basically saying that this allowed for, law enforcement in Jacksonville to label them as gang members and to have that on their jacket so that anytime they got pulled over or anything, they would already be registered or whatever as an associated gang member, or affiliated gang member. That's what it seems like they're trying to get across. And hopefully I'm doing it justice. You know what I mean? That's my interpretation of what he's saying. And that says a lot, man. Because remember that Y&R Mookey, he got locked up, and I believe it was with Spotemgottem. And when we went over the paperwork, it was like there was some situation with a gun. I'll say that much. You know what I mean? I'm trying to choose my words, right here. But man, let's continue. Let's look at this second part. All right, just like the last part, we're going to have to improvise just a little bit because there's some errors in this, but I'll correct them as we go. Now, it says this. It says, the case has continued on for a year and 2 months. DNA and fingerprints has been taking place, and neither one came back to be his. He is being held with pending charges of possession of a weapon or ammunition by gang-related felon or delinquent, just by being a backseat passenger of someone else's vehicle. Meanwhile, the firearm was found in the glove compartment of someone else's vehicle. Also, there was a live video placed on Instagram from one of the former detectives, and that was on the previous case, who targeted, harassed, and tormented Tyler during the traffic stop that took place on April 9th, 2020. So basically, man, he's saying that on April 9th, 2020, there was a traffic stop. It was somebody else's car. A weapon was found in a glove compartment. And in that glove compartment, the weapon that they found doesn't match with Y&R Mookey in any way. Like DNA evidence, like fingerprints, nothing. And it continues on, man. All right, in this part, there's also some grammar errors and whatnot. Like I said, whoever wrote this, they did it on their phone, obviously, and you always got to account for autocorrect. So in this next part, it says this, and this is where I believe they're talking about Spotemgottem in here. It says, before the traffic stop occurred, due to dispositions, another officer stated that Detective so-and-so called him, stating he was going to pull them over. The state attorney office is still targeting and holding him now, going on 14 months, and is trying to sentence him to 15 years due to false allegations from the officer that arrested the teens, who made one of the juvenile who was underage at the time to make a false report to pinpoint it on my client. Now, a lot of people will say at that point they're talking about Spotemgottem, but I'm not sure because he doesn't leave a name. Then at this last part right here, it looks like he's saying just to get him off the streets, but he uses his phone and you have that little, whatever there. But man, let's actually look at the very last part of this now. Okay, now this is the last part. And he says this. He says he has been requesting for the past couple of months to get a trial date and nothing has been done. There's no evidence, fingerprints, or DNA found to allegedly charge and pinpoint this charge on him. Even after the state has spoken with the witness and one has confessed that it had nothing to do with my client, he is still being held after 2 previous lawyers who couldn't so help. Now going on a 3rd lawyer, we're still waiting for things to change and for justice to be served. We're reaching out for a second voice of help to see what's going on and why he's still being targeted and labeled as a gang member due to his entertainment title. Now, basically in that last part, they're saying that they've gone through 3 separate different lawyers. You know what I mean? Like, he's the 3rd lawyer to take up this case, and he feels like Y&R Mookey, he just shouldn't be locked up. Like, there's no reason to be holding him. Somebody else already said that he had nothing to do with the weapon, that he's not, affiliated with any type of gangs or anything like that, and he's being unjustly held. Now, maybe they might have a case in that. I don't know, to be honest. But it seems pretty strong what they're saying. If there's no fingerprints, no DNA evidence, it's not his vehicle, and the weapon was in a glove compartment, I don't know how that weapon still falls on Y&R Mookey, but you never know, man. Now, what do you guys think about this? Do you think that the person that they didn't name in this was Spotemgottem? And what do you guys think about his lawyer reaching out for help from everybody in the community to get his client free? Because he said he's pretty much been locked up for 14 months without even, a trial date or anything like that, which is pretty crazy, man. I don't know how this goes in most cases, but I know that, there's such thing as due process and a speedy trial, man. So for him to be sitting and waiting just for it to hear anything, man, it sounds rough. I'm not gonna lie about that. But what do you guys think, man? Do you think YR Mookey has a case here? Or do you think that Spotemgottem has any involvement in this? And what do you think about his lawyer reaching out to social media? Is that a good way to move? I mean, we've seen Queso do something similar, recently. Now, with that, this has been your boy Big Man. Do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you get a notification every time I drop this hot content. And we out of here. Peace.